I watched 100 most complimented fragrance videos on YouTube to see if we could find the most complimented fragrances of all time. So if you're one of the 2 people watching who don't care about getting compliments, you should probably leave, like, get on, skedaddle. But if you're not one of those people and getting fragrance compliments doesn't grind your gears, then stick around because one of you will leave with this entire list, making you the proud owner of the most complimented fragrance collection in the world. We might actually need to verify that with the Guinness Book of World Records, but for time's sakes, we'll keep it moving. Over the past 3 months, I watched 100 most complimented fragrance videos, documented the most complimented fragrance from each video, and then ranked those fragrances based on how many times they came in as #1 to create the ultimate list of most complimented fragrances. But before I tell you how you can get these highly complimented fragrances for free, let's hop into this list. First up, in the number 10 spot, we have Dior Sauvage Elixir, and I've imagined that if this fragrance was around longer, it would be higher on the list. However, with this one being a 2021 release, it's impressive that it's even made its way into the discussion. Dior Sauvage Elixir is potent, perfect for cooler weather, and possesses this high quality allure that's unlike most designer fragrances on the market today. To me, it doesn't scream Sauvage and could have been a standalone fragrance. It's a traditional men's fragrance stack, so in addition to the grapefruit, there's this floral heart and a woody base. However, the base also includes a blend of Haitian vetiver, this amber accord, and a subtle hint of sweet licorice. Next, in the number 9 spot, we have Versace Dylan Blue, and I find the correlation between Dior Sauvage Elixir and Dylan Blue to be quite interesting. On the surface, it may seem like they have nothing in common, but they both contain grapefruits, wood, spice, and sweet undertones, but here it's on account of the tonka. With Dylan Blue, the grapefruit, ambroxan, and marine-esque vibes are the stars of the show. And with a name like Dylan Blue, you should expect your typical blue fragrance characteristics. It's youthful, mass appealing, and a long-lasting compliment monster. If you're looking for a great everyday wear fragrance that's fresh but versatile enough to wear in the fall and the winter, then Versace Dylan Blue might be your winner. Moving on, we have Darley from the House of Parfum de Marly, and if you're not deep into the fragrance game, then there's a chance you may have never heard of it. Often overshadowed from other fragrances from the house like Layton, Herod, and Pegasus, Darley could be that fragrance that you need in your collection to see a spike in compliments. On first spray, you could tell that this fragrance will be optimal for those spring and summer days, but this fragrance will also hold its own in the fall as well. In the top, Darley features bergamot, mint, and lemon. As the fragrance develops, there's cinnamon, lavender, rose, and woody nuances. Think of Darley as a more sophisticated offering of Le Male. Now, it doesn't smell exactly like Le Male, but there are some similarities, and there are enough differences to have them both in your collection. It's less sharp than Le Male, it's soothing, has mass appeal, and as a result, it's extremely easy to wear. Number 7 is Viktor & Rolf's Spicebomb Extreme, and if you spent any time online looking for that perfect date night, fall, or winter fragrance, then you've likely come across it. I wasn't on YouTube when this fragrance released, but I remember coming across it in Dillard's and knew that I had to have it. Spicebomb Extreme is a little more addictive and a little more seductive than the OG. It's black pepper, cumin, and cinnamon, so if you're heading out on a hot date, then Spicebomb Extreme is one of the best ways to turn up the heat. This is one that I received tons of compliments on as well, so I know what this one can do. I rated Spicebomb Extreme a 9 out of 10 in its official review, and it's one I'm still extremely pleased to have within the collection. And soon, it'll be making its way over to one of you. Continuing on, we have Y EDP, and when this fragrance originally released, I was not a fan. But as time went on, I revisited this one a few times, and I quickly noticed that my nose must have been broken because now I'm a huge fan. Well, speaking of Y EDP, woody, bold, fresh, and masculine are words that immediately come to mind for me. To me, the EDP version provides a more vivid imagining of what the original EDT was supposed to be. What I like about most of the YSL Y fragrances is that they force you to make a decision, and that doesn't change with the EDP. Although I don't feel like anyone would complain about you wearing this fragrance, there might be some people out there who may be off-put by its sweetness. But personally, I feel that's one of the aspects that makes the EDP so great. Next up, we have Ultramar by Jean-Paul Gaultier, and this one is legendary. Ultramar was often seen as a clubbing fragrance, and I understand why. It was powerful, so the projection was a beast. It smelled unique, so it could easily stand out from the various scents you would encounter when in a clubbing situation, and women truly enjoyed smelling this one. I remember my first experience with Ultramar. It was a few days before Halloween back in 2015, and I was blown away. I was in a rush and couldn't chase down a Macy's employee to ring me up, but I went back when I had some time and picked this one up with the quickness. The nose behind this legendary fragrance is Francis Kurkdjian, and I can tell you back when I picked this fragrance up, I had no clue that I would have 2 fragrances of my own created by him. Speaking of which, Exalted Wheat has been sold out for a while, so if you haven't picked up Idola for your lady, you should do so because supplies are limited. But back to Ultramar. For me, this one checks almost every box you would want in a fragrance, and I gave it an 8.5 out of its official review. The only downside here is that it lacks versatility. In fourth place, we have Reflection Man 45, which is an updated take on Reflection Man, one of the more popular releases from the house of Amouage. To me, it's kind of funny because when I think of the collective of Amouage Reflection Man fragrances, I think of class and sophistication, but my wife thinks of old man, but I guess they can kind of go hand in hand. I was wearing this one the other day and my wife said, "Why do you smell like one of my mom's ex-boyfriends? You smell like something an older man would have worn back when we were in high school," end quote. That said, Reflection Man released back in 2006, the year after I graduated from high school, so she was close in the time frame. Then Reflection Man 45 was released back in 2021, but possesses many of the same qualities of the original, but amped up. 45 and Reflection Man 45 represents the concentration of fragrance oil, and at 45%, it's a healthy amount. If you're familiar with the original, this one is less floral and not as bright, but the overall DNA is the same. Personally, I would be comfortable dressing this one up or dressing it down, but due to its hefty price point, some people out there may only opt to wear this one for special occasions. When I think about next fragrance, it's one that has become legendary and one of the most cloned fragrances on the market today, and that fragrance is none other than the king! Of course, I'm talking about Creed Aventus, and to me, Aventus is this sophisticated, rich, fruity fragrance that delivers and lives up to its reputation. It'll draw attention and it'll get you compliments, and despite what you might hear online, it's not a fragrance that everyone can afford, so chances are you might be the only person in your circle with the bottle. Aventus is and was an innovative fragrance and goes down in the books as a first-round draft pick and a first ballot Hall of Famer. Primarily, you get smoke and fruit and a hyper-fresh opening that the clones just can't compete with. My wife surprised me with my first bottle of Aventus back in 2014, and ever since it's been a go-to fragrance for me for times when I want to make a statement or turn heads. To me, it's ideal for casual or formal wear. Aventus is youthful without being immature, complex but maintains wearability, and it's a 10 out of 10 in my book. I completely understand why this next fragrance is on the list. It's a 2015 release that has since been discontinued, but with such high compliment factor, maybe it's been discontinued too soon. In the number 2 spot, we have Armani's Acqua di Gio Profumo. To me, Profumo was an immediate purchase and was too versatile to not have in the collection. Prior to being discontinued, Profumo was seen as Armani's modernized take on Acqua di Gio, and people embraced it. It's fresh, it's bold, has spectacular performance, and has the power to generate attention as people will be more than happy to smell you nearby. Despite the fresh nature of Profumo, it's one that I would be comfortable wearing year-round. Most of you are likely not surprised that Profumo made this list because it's been recognized on a number of channels for its versatility, compliment factor, and wearability. Profumo was featured in a number of weekly fragrance rotation videos for me, but was never the overall winner. But in watching 100 fragrance videos, it happened to be the number 1 fragrance for a lot of people out there. And here we have it, folks. In the number 1 spot, we have Layton from the house of PDM Darley. I've often said that Layton is fit for a king, and obviously I'm a king, so therefore it's in my collection. Layton is known for its warmth, but it's spicy, but also has a freshness about it that prevents it from becoming too dark. It smells luxurious from start to finish, and to my nose, in the dry down is where it begins to run away from the pack. And the dry down becomes richer, creamier, it's a little sweeter and projects a little more, and does all this without becoming overwhelming. I find Layton to be a 3-season fragrance, and I wouldn't recommend it for the summer, but I guess technically nothing's stopping you from wearing it. However, Layton is probably best suited for the late fall and winter months. Many people will recommend Layton as a must-try fragrance from the house of PDM Darley, but if you notice, they had 2 fragrances on our list today, so does that make PDM Darley the most complimented fragrance brand of all time? I don't know, but what I do know is that one of you is walking away with this entire most complimented fragrance list for free. You know me, the rules are simple. You must be a subscriber of the channel, and comment down below letting me know which fragrance from our list today you're looking forward to wearing the most. So go on, get your entries in, and share this video with a friend or 2. Who knows? If they win, they might even share it with you. And if you like videos like this, then click here to see what happened when I purchased every new fragrance at Macy's.